All right, so we will go ahead and get started. Does that sound good to everyone on the panel? Okay. So welcome to this is our third annual 211 Virginia Week. Our theme this year, as you may have noticed, is uncovering our new look and celebrating 19 years of connection. So this is our 19th anniversary, and we like to think throughout this kind of modernization journey that we've been a little mysterious. So that's why we have this detective theme and that we're uncovering our new look. So first, I'd like to turn it over to Kathy Spangler with the Virginia Department of Social Services and Anne-Marie Green with the Council of Community Services to officially kick off and welcome you to 211 Virginia Week. Kathy?
Thanks so much, Amanda. Good morning, everyone, and what a beautiful day in Virginia. We're looking forward to some weather this week, and so it's just a really good reminder that when there's weather or any kind of emergency that we face, 211 is here every day and in times of emergency. It's such a pleasure to be here to celebrate 211 Virginia and 211 week. You know, there are over 200 211 systems across the country, and we're one of 3 statewide systems in the United States. And we're only one of 2 that are really administered directly through state government. So we're really excited from the Virginia Department of Social Services to be able to work on this project and bring 211 Virginia to life. It is the largest human services resource directory in the Commonwealth. And it is an extraordinary way to make sure that those people who are in urgent need of information and resources and support, that they have access. And you're going to learn today of all the different ways that people can access the information that's available through 211 Virginia to get the resources they need to support their lives. And so I'm just thrilled to be able to be with you today and to recognize our contractor who day in and day out, 24/7, 365, provides the platform and the information and the team to deliver 211 Virginia to the Commonwealth. And so I'm really proud of and pleased to work closely with the Council of Community Services in Roanoke, Virginia, who have been a longstanding contractor for BDSS and 211 Virginia. It's really my pleasure to introduce again and turn over to Anne-Marie Green, who manages the council and really pulls this team together on a daily basis to deliver the supports that all of us need to make sure that 211 is a vital and viable resource for the Commonwealth of Virginia, its citizens, and the organizations that do such tremendous work day in and day out to support the needs and interests of our citizenry. So thanks to all of you who are joined and are part of the 211 family. And Anne-Marie, take it away.
Thank you, Kathy. I want to join Kathy in welcoming you all here today. As she said, we are the contractor with the state of Virginia, and we are located in Roanoke, but we do have employees throughout the state of Virginia. Our call center people are all over the state, and more importantly, our community engagement people are throughout the state, where they can connect with you all who are our partners, our agencies that actually help provide the service to the people on the ground. We are really excited this year. The state of Virginia was very generous in providing us some additional resources so that we would be able to do some modernization. We have a new system that we are using, computer data system that you'll hear about this week, and a brand new website that you'll hear about this week. And all of that is thanks to Kathy and the Virginia Department of Social Services and getting us some additional funds. This is going to be really exciting. The people who are listed in our database, all of those organizations it's going to be so much easier for you all to see your data, to update it, and it's just going to be so much better for the public too to see the website. So on behalf of those of us here in Roanoke and throughout the state that are council employees, welcome. We're really excited you all are here. I'll turn it back to Amanda. Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy and Anne-Marie. So welcome to the state of 211 Virginia. Today is February 10th, and we will celebrate 211 Day with our 211s across the country. Tomorrow on 211, but 211 Virginia always likes to make it a week. So we are excited to kick off today with you all. On the docket today, you'll see our detective theme come out throughout the entire week. We will go over the week overview to give you a chance to look at what we have going on throughout the week. And if you want to register, you still can register for those sessions. Then we have a few activities that are just some fun and engaging ways to get further and connected with 211 as an agency and as a partner that we'll go over today. Of course, reintroduce you or introduce you to 211, our Team 211 Virginia, a data snapshot, partnership highlights, modernization updates, maybe most exciting uncovering, and then hopefully have time for some Q&A. Again, we always encourage you to get in touch with your community engagement team members, your database, or leadership. We really are kind of open door when it comes to connecting with any of our team members and providing support to our agencies and stakeholders. And then we'll wrap with just farther ways to connect with us. So that's on the detective docket for today's session. So a look at our week and what we have planned is, of course, today we're kicking off. Tomorrow at 2:11 p.m. or 2:11 p.m. on 211 day, we are officially launching our new website at 211virginia.org. So we hope that everyone will come and celebrate and see our new features and what we've been working so hard on this past year. And then on Wednesday at 11 a.m., we're inviting you to kind of decode the directory, get that first look of that new database platform through Vision Link, and dive into what it looks like to manage your agency, get updated, and get listed in the new data platform. And then on Thursday at 2:11 p.m., we want you to put your detective hat on and get that first look at our annual report data and become data detectives as we look at that data together. And then we'll wrap up on Friday celebrating our partners in problem solving. Well, you'll learn more about how 211 engages with our state partners and programs, and then also hear from Serve Virginia and DARS and No Wrong Doors program to learn more about how they connect and the resources that they provide to Virginians. And so we do invite you to join us. We have our register link for the last time on our MailChimp 211 University site that you can go to and register for the rest of the week. And we do hope you'll join us. So now I'm going to pass it off to our community engagement specialist for the Northern Region, Darian Buesso, for an activities overview and some of the fun that we're incorporating in our events this week. So Darian?
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's also we're just so happy that you all are here for 211 week. It's a very exciting week. So we wanted to include and incorporate bingo, something so fun and interactive to make this exciting throughout our 211 week. So um, if you could go to the next slide. So here's the insights into the 211 week bingo game. So we wanted to create a sense of resource and awareness for and fun and motivation, community engagement. We wanted to encourage interaction and networking amongst participants and community partners, and we wanted active participation, teamwork, and collaboration. So we really wanted to incorporate this game. So here to the right is our bingo card. Everyone will receive a bingo card. If you haven't received a bingo card, please let us know in the chat or reach out to us via email so that you can get a bingo card so that you can use it throughout the week. Every bingo card is different. So everyone has a bingo card. So, okay, so we're gonna go over the instructions very briefly that are listed. Bingo game instructions. So download your bingo card that should be in your email. If you have not received it, please let us know in the chat. And then also throughout the week, you'll have activities. So the activities will show in the next slide of the types of activities that we have, but you'll mark off your squares throughout the week as you tackle your activities. And then you'll share your progress. So at the end of the week, You'll be able to share your progress by emailing your finished bingo card to us. And lastly, we'll have a prize. And once you've completed your bingo card, you'll be entered into a drawing because I'm sure we'll have many people who will black out their bingo cards, right? So you'll be entered into a drawing to receive a prize from 211 Virginia. So here's a list of our bingo activity list. I'm not going to go throughout all of the activities, but just to give you some of them. Of course, attend partners in problem solving, attend partners in problem solving session, network community partners, attend all the sessions, stay, attend State of Virginia session, download a data report, attend entire 2-in-1 week, connect with your community engagement specialist, request marketing materials, and more. So you can look on the activity list to see which ones that you will do. I'm sure you'll do them all. So I have some cheat sheets that we can do. So of course, we can visit our 211 Virginia website, subscribe to our newsletter, search your agency's listing on our 211 Virginia site. So this is a cheat sheet, and I'm sure you can get this done today. It shouldn't be hard. And then we also have a cheat sheet, another one. So you can follow us on Instagram. We're excited to have social media now. So 211_Virginia. Follow us on LinkedIn and follow us on Facebook. At the conclusion of our final 211 Virginia Week session, we want to see all your completed bingo cards. We will have multiple winners again, and they will be entered into a drawing for our 211 week prize pack. If you have any questions about our bingo game or need more information, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via email during the session because we're really truly here to help. Let's make 211 Virginia Week memorable. We also have incorporated within our week 211 week attendance badges. So we really want to celebrate participation. We want to honor your partnership being here, and we also want to recognize your impact because your impact has really been impactful and you've helped people in the community and you also help us. So we want to make sure that we show our appreciation by giving you this badge. Each day we have a badge, so we would love for you to post this on your social media platforms. You also can use it as a form of badge at your work environment. Post it on your LinkedIn. Day one, you have a badge of State of Virginia. Two, site launch party day badge. Decoding the directory for day three. The data detectives for day four, and partners in problem solving for day five. And then we have a badge of excellence for 211 week badge that you will receive when you complete all the days of 211 week. Thank you. We really thank you for being here with us. And so sorry. We really thank you for being here with us and attending 211 week.
Thank you, Darian.
Of
And
course.
if you have questions or want to put things, use our Q&A. We are working, I think, to get the chat back up. This happens to us whenever we run our first webinar, so we'll get this fixed throughout the week. But you can put regular comments in our Q&A, and we'll get to you that way as well. So now I will introduce Mary Monaco, our team lead and community engagement specialist for the Northwest region.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you so much, Darian. We are so excited to be here with y'all this week. I cannot believe we have 70 attendees right now. So thank you all so much for spending your morning with us. Regarding bingo cards, we did get those sent out last night, so they may have gone to your spam folder. I've gotten a couple bounce backs. We're going to be monitoring that throughout the week. If you'd like your bingo card right away, you can. I put the link in the chat just to email Darian at darianb@councilofcommunityservices.org. And our chat will be enabled tomorrow. We did change that setting, but it's not going to update for today's webinar, so we'll be ready to go by then. With that, I want to go ahead and get to introducing Team 211 Virginia. One of the most important parts of Team 211 is our partners. And so to kick off this section, we wanted to share a short video highlighting our partners. We've asked them for their insights and for their investigation results on 211 Virginia and our modernization efforts. So without any further ado, I think let's hear from some of our special agents. And we're going to want to replay that. I think the audio is not sharing. So we may just need to reshare.
Okay. Let me stop sharing and reshare.
The first day of 211 week, y'all.
It worked in our practice session. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go back a slide. Not working? Okay, hold on. I think I know how to solve this.
This is our new case for 211 week, is how to make Zoom reliably play sound. And while we're fixing that, we do have a question about putting the activity list and cheat sheet in the Q&A. Those will be in today's slides. Today's slides will be available to you all. So we're not going to link them here because they're slides, so we can't link this specific item, but those will go out in the slides and those will be available probably by the end of today. So we're excited to see so many people interested in participating.
I'm trying. If anyone knows where this is located automatically.
On Zoom, did you click share sound? Did you click that on the Zoom?
Yeah.
And did the share, the arrow under share?
Advanced sharing options. I don't see it. Okay, I'll figure that out. Mary, you go ahead with the presentation and I'll figure it out. And we'll come back to it at the end.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Worst case, we can always just share the link to it. Amanda was right. It was working today in our practice session. So we'll put on our detective hats later and figure that one out ourselves. But moving on, we were going to go ahead and meet our squad. So our lovely partners that participated will get highlighted. We'll also be sharing that video on our social media so you can view it there. But we're going to meet our squad internally. So as we discussed, as Kathy and Anne-Marie presented, 211 Virginia is a contracted service of the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are actually written into the code of the Commonwealth that this service has to be provided. And here you can see our not so secret code. We talk about this all the time, but these are kind of our 4 tenets, kind of our mission. And this is what's written into the Code of Virginia that we have to be fulfilled. So we collect and maintain that accurate and complete resource data. We do that with the largest human services directory in the Commonwealth. We use that directory, and Margaret, who you're going to hear from a little bit later, and her amazing team link people that call in or text with appropriate community resources to satisfy those needs. And then points 3 and 4, we've really been focused on in the last year as we try to share more information, collect better data, and share better data visualizations so that we can assist agencies in planning for human services delivery and provide information to decision makers. This is a little briefing on Operation 211 Virginia. So we have 2 key players here. 19 years ago tomorrow, today is only February 10th, Tim Kaine, who was our then governor, placed the very first call to our community resource specialist, Sean Leslie. Sean is still with our contact center and still gives out resource referrals almost every day to people who need them. So we still have some people that are very much still working for the state of Virginia that have been involved since day 1, which is really exciting. And then this is our not so classified conclusion. So as we've reviewed our work over the last 19 years, we have determined that Operation 211 Virginia has not only met our mission, but exceeded expectations from the first call to today. And you're going to hear about some of that impact throughout the week. But I want to also focus on this slide on our mission status being ongoing. We are continuing to work behind the scenes and now in front of them as well to consistently provide improvements, make things better, and listen to the needs of our community so that we can respond to them and connect and continue to connect people as best we can. So that is our wrap up of Team 211 Virginia. We're so excited to have you all with us. And we are going to move into some of that impact with our Director of Data Analytics, Mr. Robert Morrow.
Well, good morning, everyone. And as we said, we're all over the state. Greetings from beautiful downtown Elliston, Virginia. Let's go ahead and start with the first slide. So a little bit about us. We have a couple of different sections. Typically people think about our contact centers being the primary thing, but we also have our database team and our community engagement team. One of, I think, the biggest myths about 211 is we're this giant call center. No, we are small, but we are mighty. So you can get an idea. There's about 40 of us all together at any given moment, and we work very hard to meet all of the needs, both for the agencies that are listed and for the individuals across the Commonwealth who call us, chat with us, or text with us for assistance. So next slide, please. This is our wonderful 211 state map. We are getting close again. It seems like every time we get really, really close to 100%, we have a state that or some area that has a issue with 211. But these are all of the numbers, the areas, I should say, that are covered by the 211 dialing code. You can ask pretty much any of our staff. The question that we get sometimes is, well, what number do you call to reach 211? And it is just 211. So we are part of this national network, and slowly but surely, and of course, this is just the United States, because our system is also in Canada, so we're international now. Next slide, please. So this is our regional map. We are divided up into 6 regions. This is a throwback way back to the beginning, before 211 was around. We had 6 different call centers set up in the mid-80s, and we're still using that same structure just to kind of make it a little unwieldy. There's 133 different municipalities across Virginia, and sometimes that's a big list to try to go through. So we have broken it up into 6 regions. And we do have a little bit of new news on this slide, because we've renamed all of the regions except Southeast. So Southeast Virginia was always SEVA, but Northern Virginia, if you've seen some of our reports and you saw the thing of Anna, who's Anna? I don't know any Anna. We think it stood for Annandale. Some of us, it goes back farther than we've actually been working on this project. But we now have Northern Virginia for NOVA, Northwest VA, Southwest VA, and our 2 somewhat renamed regions, West Central, which is the old Central region for planning districts 11 and 12, there around Lynchburg, down to Martinsville and over to Danville. And Richmond Southside has now become East Central Virginia, because yes, I wanted to have 4 letters that made some sort of a sense. So, we did our best. So we are, covering the entire state. We're one of the first, if not, I think maybe the first statewide information referral system back about at the turn of the century. It sounds weird to say that now, that we went statewide with one statewide database. And that database has a little over 16,000 individual services, and a little over 5,000 different organizations listed. And just kind of taking a look, we look at the number of contact records. These are the records we have of everybody that has called in or texted in or chatted with us. Those tend to be much smaller than the number of referrals that we give out. We try in most cases to give 3 referrals when there are 3 available. Not always the case. You'll also notice that in 2022, that number seems a bit higher. And back then we had some money from COVID that was doing grant assistance for folks that we typically don't have qualify for services because of income. So we had a lot of one and dones with those, but we had so many of them, we had quite a number of additional calls based on that. If some of you remember from last year, we also last year set a record in the 22-23 year, whatever year ended in 23 and started 24. Over that summer, between the 2 years, we saw a number of calls come in that set a record every month from April to September. This year looks a little bit more typical, but because that spans 2 years, you can see it's still showing that we had a bit more calls in 2024. Slide, please. And then, you know, my favorite place, all the data. So our top 5 sets of referrals are in the housing category, utility assistance, individual, community, and family support. This is typically those support programs that are not cash-based, food and meals, and then legal, consumer, and public safety. And this one is a little unusual. We don't always see legal come up, but a lot of this had to do with individuals who were facing eviction or may not have had their leases renewed and were referred to a lot more legal resources during that period because we had a lot more legal questions. So if you look at our numbers there across the bottom, you know, utility assistance and housing tend to be a kind of a weird neck and neck. Utility assistance probably gets more requests for service, but there's only 6 services for us to refer to, whereas housing has about 24. So it looks a little weird sometimes. So if you see stuff from us that says utilities first or housing's first, it all depends upon how we slice and dice the information. Obviously, food has been and stays in the top 5. So those 3 are generally pretty stable. Other things will depend upon what is actually happened. And we'd like to call ourselves sometimes the canary in the coal mine, because oftentimes 2-in-1 systems all across the US and Canada figure out that there's a problem long before it hits the news. Next slide, please. Last year, we also did something new, which is put together reports at the planning district level. We've done statewide and occasionally regional reports, but this was trying to get down to all of the different planning districts. We did combine them into the 6 regions for the actual report information. And those are, I'm going to assume, are still available on our website that will be unveiling tomorrow. And this was just a new item for last year. We did do a little bit of information drilling down to the city and county level, but some of the areas are so sparsely populated, you don't always get a good feel for what all of the issues are. And next slide. All right, is on to our next mystery.
Thank you, Rob. So yes, if you'd like more of our data, we do encourage you to join us on Thursday for Data Detectives as we look even more at the data that Rob just presented. So next is going to be partnership highlights from Margaret Telsch-Williams. She is our Director of Information and Referral Services.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. So as she said, I'm Margaret Telsch-Williams. So one of our biggest things that I think is kind of a not so secret has to do with all the partnerships that we hold. So we engage in a lot of strategic partnerships with state agencies and programs to kind of enhance the services that we provide. So each partnership that we have is going to be unique and tailored specifically to that agency or that department to meet that collaboration. And a lot of it, the collaboration really ranges from, doing our general information and referral, which sometimes is referred to as INR, So we'll either be doing regular INR, or we're going to be focused on, maintaining our kind of comprehensive directory. So maybe we're providing listing resources for an agency. And then also you'll see on here, Virginia Department of Emergency Management. Beyond that day-to-day support, we are involved in emergency preparedness and response. So for example, the state of emergency declared this morning in anticipation of snow. So those are things that we do as kind of a quiet partnership in the background to make sure that we're ready. So we're always doing emergency exercises and, being prepared for activation all the time. So we'll go into the next slide. We'll get specific into one of these partnerships. So this has to do with the opioid reduction registry. So this often sounds like we're trying to make a list of who is having difficulty with substance use, but it's actually who are the agencies that are able to help for substance use. So it's a registration of that directory. And just for the background of this project, I almost said last year, 2023, 2 years ago, the opioid reduction registry was passed by the General Assembly, but they didn't have any funding to be attached to it. So they set the Virginia Department of Health out to try to figure out, well, how do we make this registry a thing? And they kind of thought, well, let's not reinvent the wheel. 211 Virginia already has an entire database, and we already provide resources. So they recommended 211 Virginia to do the job, but again, there's not any funding. It's just passing off this information as, how we would process it. So the Council of Community Services and, Kathy at Virginia Department of Social Services really worked hard to try to figure out, well, where can this funding come from? And it made sense to tie it into the modernization that we were trying to do anyway. So Virginia Department of Social Services was able to get some funding from the Opioid Abatement Authority and pull that over for 211, and we were able to get that in October of last year. So we're ready to roll with it. And next slide. So basically what our goal is then with this Opioid Abatement Authority funding is to have us launch a statewide initiative that kind of pushes information out to agencies as well as individuals, and we can be that resource for that information. So kind of our goals here and the key objectives is to try to get 1,500 new program listings. So a lot of times if there's information where somebody needs help but we can't find it, we probably have an agency out there that we just don't know about. So we want to get those listings added. Next, we're also going to make sure that our staff are fully trained for that opioid, call that they get, that person that's seeking help. And we also want to make sure that we're providing information via text. Some individuals don't want to call in, they don't want to talk to someone directly, but they are seeking help. So we're going to push hard on that modernization to get our texting service to be able to provide that information. And then lastly, we're looking at, just based on the numbers and statistics regarding opioids and substance use, we're looking that we can probably provide support to at least 10,000 inquirers or individuals calling in or texting or emailing or however. So on the next slide, we'll see this is our litmus test of how it was before with zero action being done, zero push. So prior to our funding, we know that we only have 623 listings. Well, I say only, that's still a significant amount. Listings in the database regarding substance use. And in that last year that just ended in June, we have provided 1,200 referrals. So that's people calling in, needing help, and us providing, a resource to them. And then the figure which looks smallest here, but I feel is most important, is that we do log what's called an unmet need. So if someone calls in and says they're looking for assistance and we can't find it, we track that. We track where they were when they called us, what resource they were looking for, and the fact that we weren't able to give them anything. So on the next slide, you'll kind of see what our game plan is with this new year and now that we've got this funding. So it basically starts with protocol and training creation. We have to know how we need to handle these individuals calling in, and we need to make sure that we know that we're going to do it consistently every time. We have a pretty high bar for how the contact center runs, so we want to make sure everybody's trained the same. Next, we plan to roll out a 3-month pilot. This is kind of an information gathering session. Those numbers on the previous slide were based on us doing nothing. So a pilot program will show us how we can move that needle when we are doing something, asking every individual if they need assistance. Next, we'll take a look at that data and like see what we got out of all of that, and then let that lead into agency recruitment. And the next slide shows that a little bit better of how we anticipate. So we'll kind of see in the white circle there, first we are going to gather our clues because we're our detectives this week. We're going to gather our clues and document all of our met and unmet needs as we roll through this pilot. Take that and analyze all of that data to see what those services were that were being missed. What were we looking for, where we were able to provide and where we weren't. So we connect those dots there and then follow the evidence. So based on what we're saying we're able to provide and where, and what we're not able to provide and where, we can then go out and talk to the agencies that do these services that maybe aren't in our database. So it'll really create like a good system of filling it in from the backside of just making sure that we actually have enough listings that we can provide good resources to individuals when they call. So that'll lead to our agency outreach and kind of building up our network, making sure that, these agencies are now listed and in the database. And when we feel like we've got a kind of good amount of listings going, remember that goal is 1,500, then we can really push towards individuals and we can talk about marketing, education, and all of our outreach to kind of raise awareness about the services and how to get with 211 to make sure that we are providing some assistance. So the next slide. What we're looking at for the future is just kind of making sure that we create and then are good stewards of this opioid reduction registry. So we would definitely want to increase accessibility to resources. So like I said earlier, individuals may want to text rather than call. We're going to make sure that's available to them. We're going to have a searchable one-stop directory. And this is kind of just making sure that everything statewide and at local levels is provided in one place. And then lastly, an information hub for agencies. We really want to make sure that our agencies feel empowered to provide information. So we are looking towards, with our new website and launching, again, modernization, being able to provide one resource page that's really talking about opioids in the future and making sure that it's easy to navigate our system. So that's our opioid reduction registry progress. The next partnership is about our 988 coordination. So it's tricky to talk about 988 because I don't think people really understood how their system was before. So here's my simple graphic to explain. In the past, individuals that were fearing suicide may call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, also 988, and they will get stabilized and then told to call 211 for resources. But if they call 211 and they appear to be in crisis and we're concerned for this person, we're going to send them back to the lifeline. And so we kind of kept getting into this loop of, us being worried that they needed stabilization and the lifeline being worried that they needed resources. So on the next slide, you'll see this beautiful partnership that we've been able to create where we actually take 211 Virginia's database, which is stored in the National Data Platform, which is a part of United Way Worldwide, where a lot of 211s all store their database together, not necessarily their records, but their listings. And we're able to provide access to Virginia Department of Health and Behavioral Services to give those 988 individuals access to our agency listings, and they can not only stabilize, but also provide resources in the same step. So it's kind of this beautiful connection of cutting out the middleman. And we still, if we need to make a transfer, if we're speaking with someone who's in crisis, we also have a warm transfer agreement in place to send those calls to 988. So on the next slide, you'll kind of see where it's this partnership of our three critical numbers, or if you've seen this graphic before, the help is 3 numbers away. So it's pairing up what we're doing with 211 Virginia and making it be a piece that 988 can use. So next slide. What we're liking about this agreement with 988 and being able to provide that is that 988 has huge national marketing where we're only talking to Virginians. So they're able to really expand out those marketing efforts and make sure that individuals in crisis know to call 988 and not 211. But now they're still going to get the benefit of 211's resource directory. They're still going to be able to get to the resources these individuals need for counseling, group therapy, things like that, that normally 988 wouldn't have provided. We also really want to see the stress reduced for callers to not get bounced around from one agency back to us and back to 988. So we really see this as a service to them without them even knowing it. And then lastly, similar to the opioid registry where we look at met and unmet needs, it's the same here. We get a chance to see what 988's referral data looks like. Where are they seeing gaps that we can come in and kind of fill in the database where there's support that they need. So that is 988. Next, just talking about the national recognition that we got, to really showcase how we're using technology to better serve our communities. In the fall, Amanda Holcomb and Kathy Spengler both were able to attend the 211 Leadership Summit. And we were featured as a local national data platform success story. And this one, similar to how we were talking about using it for 988, this is with the Virginia Department of Aging and Rehabilitative Services, also called DARS. So their No Wrong Door program uses a Virginia Social Health Connector tool. And within that, it does the same thing in tapping into our database within the National Data Platform. So that has been able to show like how we've been able to utilize this technology and our modernization pieces, again, in ways that we may not necessarily show it in our specific 211 call data, but we are able to see the ways that 211 is affecting other things. I also want to mention that at the 211 Leadership Summit, 211 Virginia was recognized for our response during Hurricane Helene. So again, just dedication to how we want to make sure that we support Virginians, even when it's in crisis because of disasters of any kind. So this really just underscores the power of our strategic partnerships and how we've got this commitment to really use data-driven solutions to improve individuals' lives. So then, of course, on the last slide, just a shout out that, we are going to have our partners in problem solving session on Friday at 11. So if you want to learn more about these partnerships and more details, there's going to be insights from Serve Virginia, which is the organization dedicated to promoting and supporting volunteerism and service in Virginia. We're also going to have an opportunity to hear about DARS and their No Wrong Door partnership from them directly. And in addition, we're going to talk about how we are kind of a trusted partner in disaster. We're going to look at that Hurricane Helene data and any of our other ongoing disaster support efforts. So at the end, we're also going to make sure that we provide, if any of you have already seen this before, this great introductory session that is the 411 on 211. Our community engagement team is going to be able to provide that as well. So you have a chance to connect with 211 Virginia directly, not just with partners. So, and I think that's the end. Amanda, is it you next?
Yeah, thank
right.
you. Yes, we have a jam-packed day on Friday. So that session goes from 11 a.m. to 2:11 p.m. So similar to our town hall, you can drop in and drop out and come back, but we do invite you to stay for the entire time to hear all that great stuff about partnerships. And as we go into kind of the final update of the state of 211 Virginia, with the modernization, I'm just reminded about how much we have done this year on top of the modernization with the opioid reduction registry starting, that kind of work starting, Hurricane Helene response, the winter storms, the water crises. I mean, Virginia has been through so much this year, and I am glad and grateful for the team that has been there to respond during it. So we kind of joked as we were thinking about the modernization, like, gosh, Hurricane Helene right in the middle of all of this, but we still responded and still were up running 24/7, 365 during that time. So if I haven't already introduced myself, I am Amanda Holcomb. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for our 211 Virginia Community Engagement team, overseeing their work and then also some of our statewide work as well. So for modernization, I get the pleasure of kind of giving you some updates and what to look forward to as part of our modernization. So in the case of modernization, you can read our brief from last year, but if you remember this time last year, we were advocating for the modernization of 211 Virginia, highlighting the urgent need for investments to strengthen and sustain the system. These investment needs remain critical until now. Thanks to the support of the General Assembly, 211 Virginia leadership, the Virginia Department of Social Services, we have secured funding to invest in both that opioid reduction registry and the broader modernization of 211 Virginia. So our mission was to replace that 10-plus-year-old legacy resource directory platform to ensure better interoperability with the contact center and enhance overall public and stakeholder engagement. As you've kind of learned or already know, there's three main functions that really make 211 Virginia work. So this modernization was to invest in all three of those things. The first bullet being migrating our existing resource data to a new system. Now, if only that was as easy as that bullet point, life would be good. But if you have ever made a massive migration, whether you've transferred over your own INR systems, the homeless management information, case management platform, or a healthcare platform, I think you can empathize and probably realize how much work went into that one bullet point. So we are grateful to the database team for all the work that they have put in with the migration. With us being a 19-year-old 211 Virginia and existing even longer than that, half of that time was spent in that old data platform. We did make the decision to move over 3 years worth of those contact records, and archive the rest. With that said, they also moved over all active listings. So that's over 5,000 agencies and over close to 17,000, over 16,000 program listings. So truly a massive migration took place throughout this year. The second point, probably my team's favorite, certainly my favorite, is the design and launch of a modern, user-friendly website to enhance public access and interactions with agency partners and stakeholders. So if you're familiar with the workings of 211, 211virginia.org solely existed for that public search. It was a coded site. It was pretty much a database website. There wasn't a lot of functionality and flexibility that we could give. We were limited in characters and how we did announcements and all of those things. So the former team created that 211 University MailChimp site. And so we have continued to leverage that for agencies, for our data reports, just to kind of host something. But it was really important to us to get to combine those two to truly have a one-stop shop for the general public, for you all, our agencies that are listed, our stakeholders, our General Assembly members, everyone to have one spot, and there's something for everyone on that site. So we are truly excited to launch that tomorrow. And then the third point was just improving our public search functionality. We heard from you all, and it was definitely our experience as well, is that is something that we could have improved on. It was really important for us to make sure that public search functionality wasn't just usable to people who know our systems or know our sector. We really wanted it to be something that consumers can go to, and so we've made some adjustments with that as well. So in the case of modernization, we did have some clues and timelines that got us here. If you look at this timeline, we worked under a tremendous timeline. We were working against our old database platforms contract expiring, and it was really important to us to get up and running and not have both of those systems running at the same time. And so in April 2024, we had our first lead. And then that led us to sign a contract with VisionLink to provide a new database platform. So in information and referral, the industry of itself, there's a handful of kind of best providers, and VisionLink is certainly one of those. And we're excited to be in contract with them as our new database provider. Once kind of figuring out for about a month what they could do and what we needed, that is when we decided absolutely we need to look at a digital marketing firm to build a custom website for 211 Virginia that can then integrate our database and our directory platform. That is when we decided to sign a contract with Firefly. They are headquartered in the Roanoke Valley, but do service part of their firm is throughout the entire United States to develop our public website. I learned that their COO, John, actually has a degree in taxonomy, so it felt like some perfect fit there too during working with them. And they had also previously built our nonprofit Council of Community Services website, so we knew that we had a trusted team to work with. Then you're not reading this date wrong. In December 2024, which definitely feels like yesterday, We, again, investigated, researched, looked at other 211s, looked at the offerings of VisionLink and Firefly, and really were like, we want to put out a public search that is going to do what we want it to do. And so after talking and looking and learning, we decided to expand the search functionality by signing again another third vendor in the mix with Connect 211. Connect 211 is a crowdsourced business that specializes in 211 public search directories. They make our database and our directories function more like a search engine, so like your Google, your Bing, those type of things for public search directories. And so we are really pushing our deadline right now. If we do not have this launch this week, it will be within the month. But we do want to let you know that that is something that we will provide follow-up training on if it's not ready to launch tomorrow or throughout the week. But we also hope that it is just so intuitive that you might not even need training on it once it goes live. And then in January 2025, right at midnight, when we were all celebrating going into a new year, our database team was ensuring that this database transition completed as that old contract ended and our new database platform was live. So the migration of existing resource data to the new system is complete. And you'll see an asterisk, and that asterisk is where we're going to ask for your help. And that will be in the next few slides of how you can help us ensure that your agency is verified and that you are having access to your listing. So more about that in a few slides. So some new tools for the case. This is some sneak peeks at the tools that we've been building behind the scenes for our modernization. And so this is beautiful Virginia in our new 211virginia.org homepage. This site, as mentioned, is that centralized information hub for both agencies and the general public. So we did take 211virginia.org and 211 University, marry them, and add even more things to it when it came to putting this live. We do have a password protected access for exclusive content. We have anchor agencies, contracted partners, emergency management that may need to access, or whenever they kind of need to, things that we don't want for general consumption. We do have a password protected site for that. In the coming year, we are going to have some featured resources and start developing those tailored custom pages for specific programming. So we can talk about the resources and then connect to the public search of those specific referrals. And then also have tailored pages for emergency activation. We learned from our friends at 211 North Carolina, 211 LA, the importance of really having outbound communications and our role in that. And one of those is to have some more outbound communications on our website, our socials, where you can kind of get that information without having to contact us directly. Comprehensive access to data and media. As you'll see right here, we'll have news and media and data. That way our reports, press releases, news spots will all be featured and easy to access at any time. We hope also to incorporate more visual data in the near future as well. And then a place for that 211 University. We certainly do not want to lose the information on upcoming events, announcements, and training opportunities that will live on this site as well. The public search. Our new public search will be search.211virginia.org. As mentioned, it is not live quite yet. This is a screenshot of what it will sort of look like. This is from our friends at 211 Wyoming. They have been a big inspiration to a lot of our work that we've been doing, and so this isn't any different. We instead are able to kind of improve that search experience, basing it on frequently requested referrals, common language, making it easier to navigate than traditional taxonomy. So you'll see here they kind of have their basic needs, and then the top keywords or referrals that go towards each one. Some of what Connect 211 can do is offer more language accessibility. So looking at the data, we know that Spanish is our number 2 after English, of course. So we went ahead and made it accessible in Spanish language. Also, one thing that we did kind of stop and put a pause on was those quick guides during COVID, just because the landscape of our nonprofit sector in terms of operation, funding, etc., had kind of changed during that time. So we wanted to make sure we were giving good referrals. And one of those things and the solution was to pause those quick guides. And now this is a way to kind of bring them back in a more scalable, but hopefully accurate and timely way, is by allowing customizable branded printable directories tailored to specific needs. So with Connect 211, there will be options to have logins, to favorite listings, to kind of narrow down the listings by certain types, and then be able to save them and then print them like a directory. So you can do that by your region, your location, your zip code, whatever that looks like. So those are two tools for the case that we're really excited to bring forth in this modernization. And so as the case unfolds, we hope to increase operational efficiency, improve data management, and simplify those agency and program listings. So again, once you have access to that new database platform, you'll see things look similar but different, and they're laid out different, and it's way more visually and also user friendly than our past database provider. The third bullet was what I just went over, our user-friendly design for public website and that improved search functionality. We hope to foster greater collaboration, that some of this modernization and some of these new tools we're introducing is going to allow us to partner with agencies, not just our state partners, but with agencies differently as well in their access, and how we continue to share data and then also make our resource directory something that is usable to them. And then ensuring future scalability. While we know that we're always going to have to kind of advocate for investing in our system, we hope that we can do it in a manner that we're not trying to replace it in a 10-year kind of making it more scalable, but also allowing us to continue to grow with the technology that we invested in. Both VisionLink and Connect 211 have additional features that we'll continue to learn, continue to get feedback from our communities, and see how we want to integrate into the 211 Virginia system. So kind of leading with a call to action, help us continue to solve this case. So first, thank you for being an advocate with us and then continuing to champion the importance of 211 Virginia in your networks. Share success stories and impact. Raise awareness by promoting 211 Virginia as a vital resource for all Virginians. Highlight our role in everyday support and disaster response. Support continued investment. Engage with those decision makers at the local and state and federal level. And emphasize the needs for sustainable resources. And then we ask to leverage our data. Utilize and share our data to inform decisions and improve services. And showcase how data-driven solutions make a real difference. And this call to action is not just for 211 Virginia, but it is for the health and human sector in general. We know that without you all, we don't have anyone to refer to. So in the same breath that you are doing this for 211 Virginia, make sure you're doing it for yourself and the clients that we serve as well in this space. And we will do that as well for you all. So when I brought up the asterisk around their database, this is an opportunity to claim your agency now. So if you remember our old database, once you were an executive director, a case manager, a intake contact listing, you were kind of in there forever, though not active. And so instead of moving over old contact information, we're asking our agencies to claim your agency. If you don't, we will assign your agency and we'll get it to you eventually, but this can make both of our kind of jobs easier. So when your agency is due for an annual update, a designated point person is going to receive a tokenized, secure link granting access to your agency's resource listing. This is where it's totally different than our old database. There's no longer logins or verifications. Instead, you're going to have a unique link that takes you to your resource listing dashboard. What you need to know is that we need one point person who is going to initially access your agency's listing. Then we're going to, again, provide them with that tokenized link. Now, VisionLink doesn't recommend us sharing it, but I will say if you share that link internally to your other people, it's okay. But once you're in your initial agency's listing, you'll have more flexibility to add additional contacts after the initial setup. One thing that's different with this system is that there's going to be actually a site, a service, and an agency. And so if you want different management, so say you only want one person to manage a select amount of programs, not the entire listings, that is some flexibility that you can give someone as far as their contact information goes. If you need to make updates now, you can request access by filling out this form. I think you can do a QR code, or there might be a link in the chat for that. It just asks for some brief contact information, and then we'll probably within a week or maybe less, you'll get that link for that individualized tokenized link that you can click on to access your resource dashboard. And then the case continues. So again, I do invite you to enjoy our unveiling tomorrow. It might be online before that, but we want you to celebrate with us tomorrow for our website launch, and then on Wednesday for the Decoding the Directory session. So I know we're tight on time. I don't know if we have any questions in the chat or if we've been answering most of them too.
We've been staying on top of answering some questions in that Q&A. Of course, if you have them, please continue to submit them. I know we are at time, so if you're not able to stay and get questions answered, please do feel free to reach out to our team. I'm going to go ahead and well, actually, we have our emails on a slide coming up. So my suggestion is going to be we're just going to roll through some wrap-up slides to give you all some links and contact information for our team. But please do feel free to utilize that Q&A as we wrap up. And then, of course, our team's emails will be available on those slides as well. So you can always reach out to us and follow up after today's session as well.
Perfect. All right. So I have the pleasure of now introducing Lori Rouse-Mann. She is our newest community engagement specialist for the Southwest region. And so if you are in our Southwest region, now you have your own community engagement specialist, and that is Lori. And Lori's going to go through some other ways that you can connect with us.
Right. So yeah, since we are short on time, I'm just going to touch on a few of these things, just to discuss a few ways to stay connected with 211 Virginia and ultimately help you support your mission within your agency or organization. So the first one being is train your team. We want you to equip your staff and volunteers with information about what 211 does, not only to support our community, but your agency specifically. And you can do that through just sharing information that you've taken from our website or what you've learned today. And then we also encourage you to reach out to your community engagement specialist for more specific resources and support and some trainings that they can apply to the work that you do. Going down to meet your squad, I think on our next slide, we'll kind of go across the state so you can quickly identify who your community engagement specialist is. And once you identify who you're supposed to reach out to, they're going to be able to provide you again with those specific resources, set up those trainings, and be your point person for all things 211 related. And then we're going to go down to stay on the trail. That's signing up for our newsletter that is on our website, that you can sign up for up-to-date information regarding the things that we're doing, and that it's still in a similar vein. Follow the evidence, where you can follow us on all of our social medias with the handle at 211 Virginia. And of course, back to the website, that's our headquarters of sorts. And that's where you're going to find all of those resources, training, and support. So going across the state, I had every intention of letting everybody introduce themselves, but since we are short on time, I'll just do a brief overview. Of course, me on the far west end of the state, I'm Lori Rouse-Mann right there in the blue section. Moving a little bit east, we have Amanda, who's going to cover our West Central. Then we have Miss Mary, who does the Northwest part of the state. And then we've got, are you moving to Darien? We've got Darien, who is in Northern Virginia. We have Nelson, who is in East Central, and Miss Brittany, who is in the Southeast part of the state. And here's the QR codes that you can follow to be able to follow us on all of our social medias. And here's another overview of what we have coming up this week. I know that the links to register for each of these weeks, if you haven't already, have been put in the chat. And just to support some of our partners, this is the information for the 2025 Virginia Volunteerism Summit provided by Serve Virginia that's happening May 14th and 15th of this year. And I think you can, if you follow that link there at the bottom, you'll be able to register for that as well. And here's where I'm going to toss it back to either Mary or Amanda so that they can wrap up for today and prepare y'all for tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for our kickoff and our first session, State of 211 Virginia. You have earned your first detective badge being on this case. And so look for that on socials and in your email, and proudly post that to your page and share more information. I think internally we made a goal to try to get to 211 followers on our social media by the end of the week. So if you can help us with that and help yourself with your bingo card, we're trying to get you to Bingo Blackout and just continue to engage with us in this fun week of 211 Virginia Week, uncovering our new look and celebrating 19 years of connection. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.